What's up, y'all? Welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about men not actually liking women. I watched the episode of Poor Minds with Drea and Lex P. Shout out to them. And Charlemagne the God. Shout out to Charlemagne. And they had a conversation at one point where they spoke about men wanting to have sex with women but not actually liking them.
Yeah, it is an interesting topic because even when I hear people try to use woman as an insult,
Yeah.
like, oh, you acting like a girl,
Yeah.
you acting like a bitch,
Yeah.
it's like, so you think women aren't strong? Is that what you're
Mhm.
saying? Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because I mean, my whole life, I've seen the women hold it down a lot more than the men have,
Yeah.
right? Because and the way I grew up, like my dad did his thing, my uncles did their things, but they also was out here wilding and cheating and all types of stuff, and was leaving the wives to have to fit the bills in a lot of ways. So I watched my mom hold down a house full of 4 or 5 kids while my
Right.
dad was, in and out of rehab trying to get it together, right? I watched my grandmother, be the only person living in her house, working as a lunch lady every day and holding it down for all her grandkids and her kids. So it's just like, I don't know why people like to use women as an insult. Guys that do that make me feel like, and I'm sorry, mom, they like pussy but don't like women.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know?
I've really noticed that. Like they just don't like women they don't look at us like people. They look at us as objects.
Objects.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah,
supposed to do this for me. You're supposed to turn me on, or you're supposed to cook for me and do things for me. But a lot of men do not view women as humans
They
at
don't.
all.
Yeah.
It's a lot of misogyny. I
A
mean, I feel like
lot.
it's always been, but these days, especially with social media, I feel like it's definitely been highlighted even more.
Yeah.
And I realized that this is a real thing because I've seen it with my own eyes with family members and other people. And women, you got to beware because there are some men out there who are in pursuit of women. They enjoy it. They want to play the game. They like to have sex with these women, but they're not serious. And they are willing to trample all over you and use you in any type of way they can, but are not actually serious. And you could come out the other side feeling depleted and feeling like this man played with you. I remember having a conversation with a guy I used to work with, and he would tell me about all these different women that he would go out with. And he would tell me, oh man, look at my phone. I have 20 different women. All these texts are these all different women that I'm talking to. And he would go to these apps and he would get these women from the apps and he would just talk to them. And he'd be on there texting all this type of slick stuff with them all the time. And, it sounded really good. But these women didn't know that he was talking to, 15 other women. And he would say things when we'd have these conversations where I would tell him where I thought maybe he could do better. Like, because I'm thinking, okay, he's dating because he wants to meet the right woman. But the whole time when I would bring up something like, okay, well, what's up with this one? What's going on with that? Or how was the date or whatever? And it was always an issue. It was always a problem when it came to the women. Oh man, you know how women are, man. Women this, women that. And it just seemed like he always had an issue, but not just with one woman particularly. It seemed to be a pattern with all of them. There was always an issue. And usually it came down to control. He always felt like the woman was controlling him and she was trying to force him to do things that he didn't want to do or go places he didn't want to go or whatever the case is. And at one point I even asked him, I said, man, do you even like women? He's like, oh, of course I like women. I love women. And I said, well, based on your behavior and like some of the interactions you're telling me about, it don't seem like you actually like women. Like the gender, the female gender, you don't really like how they behave. And he said, no, I love women. I love going out with them, whatever. So of course, then I turn around and I start asking him questions. Okay, well, what's the real problem? Because it seems to be you might be the common denominator here with all these different women that you can't seem to get. And it turns out that he had a massage fetish, that he wanted to be massaged every day, and that he would and he wanted to have sex every day. And he said that if a woman couldn't keep up with his massage and his sex, that he would he would get another woman, or that wasn't the woman for him. And I would tell him, like, man, you're so ridiculous. And I realized at that point that there's men out there like this, that they're talking to all these different women, but they don't actually like women, and they have their own will that they want to impose on those women. And when the women have standards and they don't live up to those standards, they blame her, the women. There's another guy, I want to say his name is Anton, something like that. He's always coming up in my algorithm on YouTube. And he's a brother with glasses, like myself. He tends to put up a lot of videos about women, and he'll put up a woman who may be complaining about something about men.
The prison pipeline and even the preschool to prison pipeline. But what I have learned during my time as a mother is that it's really the motherhood to poverty pipeline. Let me explain. All of these pipelines and all of these issues with literacy in the education system, they are intentional to hurt women. Okay, it is a form of punishment towards women, mainly Black women, brown women, or women who have had disabled children. So you enter a relationship, you get pregnant. If you decide that because of the actions of the father, abuse, cheating, whatever it may be, fraud, if you make the decision to leave that man and not put up with whatever abuse he is throwing at you, you now have to enter into punishment. You have a kid with a disability or special needs, because now there are even more hurdles.
None of this ever is I'm choosing to leave, or what about the women overwhelmingly that is not abused, right? Like what are we talking about? There is no accountability for the person that you decided to get with. There's no accountability for having children out of wedlock. There's no accountability for, you choosing to have children at all. There's no accountability whatsoever. Whenever somebody does not like to be held accountable, what they usually say is that it's either racist or systemic or both. Every single time. It's women that reject abuse and that they can determine when and if they want to get married, who they open up their legs to, whenever it is that they want to leave. And we've made all of this so-called progress, but people can't figure it out.
And in his comments will be a lot of other men complaining about the women as well. And so, I seen one of those videos today, and that kind of bothered me too after I watched the Poor Minds video. I have women in my family, my mother, my wife, my daughter, niece, all my cousins and aunts and everything. And a lot of those women in my life, they have been single, especially single just over the years. And they have trouble finding good men. And the truth is that I realized that this man, he may not like women. If he's putting out, it may be wrong, maybe it's just some internet shit, but it just seemed like he's posts a lot of this type of content where he's posting these videos of kind of like, here we go, we got another woman who is this and that, and then his whole base of fans are bashing the woman, So just beware, all the women out there, beware that there are men out there who don't like women or have a preconceived understanding of women or what they think is right, that maybe it came from however they were raised or whatever, and they may try to impose their own standards, their own wills, and sometimes if you're wondering what's going on, it may not be you. Is all I'm saying. It may not be you. It may not be it's something wrong with you. It may be that there are a lot of men walking around who are frustrated. And speaking of that, I know I've heard reports where men are at the loneliest right now in history, and men are having the least amount of sex in history. There's a lot of lonely, upset men right now who can't get a woman, to save their lives, and are relying on the internet and have a real issue with just going outside and speaking to a woman in real life. So just beware of that. Thank you for watching.